Listen to me. Too many of you are waking up every single day, breathing, eating, existing, but you are not living. You've accepted average as your standard, and then you wonder why you don't feel fulfilled, why your name doesn't echo beyond your neighborhood, why your children won't inherit more than your excuses. Average is dangerous. Average is comfortable. Average is what the world sells you when you're too afraid to dominate. I need you to understand something. Greatness is not reserved for the chosen few. It's reserved for those who choose not to settle. You can't build a legacy with average effort. You can't inspire a generation being average. You can't break generational curses moving like everybody else. Domination means waking up and saying, I refuse to be a copy of the masses. Domination means giving your blood, your sweat, your tears until you leave a mark so deep. History has no choice but to remember your name. Average doesn't build skyscrapers. Average doesn't break Olympic records. Average doesn't start revolutions. Legacy demands domination. And here's the truth. Every single second you spend being comfortable and good enough, you're robbing your future self, your family, your community. You're robbing them of what could have been. You're stealing from your legacy. Stop settling. Stop playing small. Stop negotiating with your greatness. You've been given one life, one shot, one chance. And if you die tomorrow, let it be said that you gave every ounce of yourself, that you dominated every arena you stepped into, that you refused to let average stain your legacy. It's not about money. It's not about fame. It's about impact. When people hear your name, will they feel power? Will they feel change? Will they be moved? Or will they shrug their shoulders because you live, but you never dominated? Today, I'm challenging you. Stop living like a tenant in your own life. Own it, control it, dominate it. Legacy belongs to those who refuse average. It belongs to those who choose greatness. I need you to hear me from the depths of your soul right now. Average is the enemy of greatness. Some of you have been fooled into thinking that average is safe, that average is acceptable, that average is good enough. But let me tell you something. Average is dangerous. Average is toxic. Average is the silent killer of dreams. Average doesn't just keep you comfortable. Average keeps you invisible. When you walk in average, nobody notices you. Nobody remembers you. Nobody talks about you when you're gone. And I'm not talking about being forgotten in a social media post. I'm talking about being forgotten in. You see, average is the graveyard where greatness is buried. Average is that trap that makes you believe you're doing something when in reality, you're just existing. And the sad part, too many people are living like that. Too many people are choosing to walk in mediocrity instead of choosing to dominate. Now, hear me closely. Domination makes you unforgettable. When you dominate, people don't have to search for your name. Your name echoes in every room you've ever walked into. When you dominate, your presence speaks before you even open your mouth. Domination is not about ego, it's about excellence. It's about saying, I refuse to show up half done. I refuse to give half energy. I refuse to live a life that doesn't leave a mark. See, average is like blending in with the wallpaper. It's being part of the crowd, moving with the flow, never being noticed. But domination is when you stand out. Domination is when your work ethic separates you from the masses. Domination is when your grind, your hustle, your commitment makes people look twice and say, who is that? What makes them so different? And the truth is, the difference isn't talent. The difference isn't love. The difference is you decided that average was no longer acceptable. You know what average does? It steals your greatness slowly. Average doesn't rob you overnight. It robs you little by little. It convinces you to sleep in instead of waking up early. It tells you to take a break instead of pushing through. It whispers to you that it's okay when you know deep down it's not okay. Average conditions your mind to think small, dream small, act small. And before you know it, years have gone by and you're still in the same place, wondering why greatness never showed up at your doorstep. Greatness didn't show up because greatness doesn't visit the house of average. Domination, on the other hand, demands something from you. Domination says, get up, keep going, push harder. Domination requires that you give every ounce of yourself, that you bleed, sweat, and sacrifice for the vision. Domination doesn't accept excuses. It doesn't negotiate. Domination looks at the clock and says, I don't care what time it is. I'm not done until I finish the mission. And when you live like that, you can't help but be unforgettable. Look at history. Look at the people we still talk about long after they're gone. Do you think they lived average lives? Do you think they gave half effort? No. They dominated. They set a standard so high, the world had no choice but to remember them. Michael Jordan didn't settle for average. He dominated the game of basketball so much that decades later, people still measure greatness against name. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't settle for average speeches. He spoke with such power and conviction that his words still move people today. Steve Jobs didn't settle for average technology. He dominated innovation and left a legacy that transformed how the world communicates. And listen, I'm not saying you have to be a celebrity or an athlete or a tech giant. Domination is not about fame. It's about excellence. It's about showing up to your job, to your craft, to your passion with so much fire that nobody can deny your impact. It's about leaving your family a name that carries weight. It's about walking into every room with the mindset that you will not blend in. You will stand out because your standard is higher than average. Too many of you are scared of standing out, so you choose average. You're afraid of criticism, you're afraid of failure, afraid of pressure, so you settle for mediocrity. Well, let me tell you something. Failure is not what kills dreams. Pressure is not what kills destiny. It's average that kills it. Because average convinces you that you're safe when in reality you're stuck. And as long as you're stuck in average, you'll never know what greatness feels like. Domination, on the other hand, demands courage. It demands that you step out of the crowd and be willing to be different. It demands that you say, I don't care if people laugh. I don't care if they doubt me. I don't care if they don't believe in. I believe in myself. Domination requires vision. It requires focus. It requires sacrifice. But when you dominate, you live a life that cannot be ignored. Average is invisible. Domination is unforgettable. People don't build statues for average. Nobody remembers the person who just got by. But people will always remember the one who dominated their field, who dominated their craft, who dominated their calling. That's what legacy is about. Legacy is not about money or fame. It's about being remembered for the impact you made. And the only way to build legacy is to refuse average and embrace domination. I'm talking to you right now. The reason you're frustrated with your life is because deep down, you know you're not giving your best. You know you've been holding back. You know you've been playing it safe. And you know you were not created to be average. There's something inside you screaming for more. There's something inside you that knows domination is your true nature. But you keep silencing it. You keep numbing it with excuses. You keep burying it under procrastination. And every day you stay in average, you're killing that voice inside that's calling you to greatness. But here's the good news. It's not too late. You can choose domination today. You can decide that average is no longer acceptable, that you refuse to settle, that you will not live another day blending in with the crowd. You can decide that from this moment forward, your life will be marked by excellence, discipline, passion, and domination. And if you do that, I promise you, people will never forget you. Your children will never forget you. The world will never forget you. So stop settling. Stop choosing average. Stop living invisible. You were created for greatness, and greatness requires domination. Average is the enemy. It will steal your joy, your purpose, your impact. Domination is the only way to become unforgettable. Choose domination because legacy demands it. Comfort is the silent killer of dreams. Comfort is the enemy that sits in your house, in your car, in your bed, whispering to you every single day, relax, you've done enough, take it easy, don't push too hard. And too many of you are listening. Too many of you are letting comfort rock you to sleep when you were born to stay awake, born to grind, born to dominate. Comfort kills legacy because legacy is only built when you are willing to push beyond what feels safe. Understand something right now, safety is overrated. Playing it safe never changed the world. Playing it safe never broke a record. Playing it safe never built a name that echoed through history. Comfort keeps you right where you are. Comfort is the illusion that you're doing okay while your destiny is slipping through your fingers. Comfort says, stay here, this is enough. But greatness is calling you higher, and the only way to get there is to move past comfort. Think about it. Every single person who left a mark, who built a legacy, had to step out of their comfort zone. Look at Nelson Mandela. Do you think it was comfortable spending 27 years in prison for what he believed in? But he endured, he sacrificed, and his legacy is freedom. Look at Serena Williams. Do you think it was comfortable to wake up before dawn, train until her body screamed, sacrifice social life, food, energy, comfort, but she chose growth over ease, and now she is a symbol of excellence? Look at Elon Musk. Do you think it's comfortable to risk billions, sleep in factories, live under pressure while the whole world doubts you? No, but he knew comfort doesn't change the future. Discomfort does. Comfort is a trap. It feels good. It looks good. It gives you temporary satisfaction, but it robs you of permanent fulfillment. Comfort will tell you to sleep a little longer while opportunity passes by. Comfort will tell you, don't take that risk. It's too dangerous while greatness waits on the other side. Comfort will say you've done enough, when in reality, you've barely scratched the surface of your potential. Comfort will kill your dreams with a smile on its face. And if you let it, you'll wake up one day old, tired, and regretful, realizing you traded your legacy for a pillow and a blanket. Growth only comes when you push past what feels safe. Think about your muscles. If you lift the same weight every single day, you'll never grow. You'll stay the same. Growth happens when you add more weight, when you tear those fibers, when you put stress on your body. It hurts, it burns, it's uncomfortable, but that's where growth lives. The same is true in life. You don't grow from doing what's easy. You grow when you take on challenges that scare you, when you say yes to opportunities that stretch you, when you put yourself in situations where failure is possible, but growth is guaranteed. Some of you are so afraid of discomfort that you're stuck in the same place year after year. You've been talking about starting a business for 5 years, but you haven't done it because it's not comfortable. You've been saying you'll get in shape, but you won't wake up early or change your diet because it's not comfortable. You've been dreaming about writing that book, starting that project, pursuing that career, but you're paralyzed because it's not comfortable. And here's the truth. If you keep waiting for comfort, you'll be waiting forever. Legacy doesn't come to the comfortable. Legacy comes to the courageous. Legacy comes to the ones who say, I will walk through the fire. I will endure the pain. I will push past the fear because I know my name is bigger than comfort. You have to stop chasing ease and start chasing impact. You have to stop asking, what feels good right now? And start asking, what will build my future? Because listen, what feels good today might destroy your tomorrow, but what hurts today might build your tomorrow. Comfort wants you to believe that staying the same is safe. The world is moving, opportunities are moving, time is moving. If you stay the same, you're falling behind. You can't afford to stay where you are. You can't afford to be comfortable when the clock is ticking, when the future is waiting, when generations are counting on you. I need you to remember this. Nobody remembers the comfortable. Nobody builds statues for the people who played it safe. Nobody celebrates the ones who never took risks. The names that live forever are the names of people who said, I refuse to settle. I refuse to live small. I refuse to stay comfortable. Those are the names we read in history books. Those are the names that inspire us. Those are the names that built legacy. So what about you? What are you doing with your life? Are you living safe or are you living significant? Are you chasing comfort or are you chasing growth? Are you playing not to lose or are you playing to win? Because I promise you this, if you live for comfort, you will die without a legacy. But if you live for growth, you will leave behind a story that cannot be erased. It's time to make a decision. Stop listening to the lies comfort tells you. Stop letting fear control your future. Stop letting safety be the ceiling on your life. Push yourself, stretch yourself. Put yourself in rooms that intimidate you. Surround yourself with people who challenge you. Take on opportunities that force you to grow. It won't feel good. It won't be easy. But when it's all said and done, you'll look back and realize that the pain was worth the progress. The discomfort was worth the legacy. Don't let comfort kill your legacy. Don't let safety steal your greatness. Don't let fear rob your family of the future they deserve. Growth only comes when you push past what feels safe. And if you want to leave a mark, if you want to be remembered, if you want to live a life of impact, you must choose discomfort. You must choose courage. You must choose growth. Because comfort might feel good right now, but legacy feels good forever. You can dream all you want. You can talk about your goals all day. You can post about success on Instagram. You can read every book. You can watch every motivational video. But until you get disciplined, until you become consistent, none of it matters. Dreams don't work without discipline. Goals don't work without consistency. You don't get to greatness by wishing. You get there by working. You get there by showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. Some of you are frustrated right now. You've got big dreams, big visions. You're telling everybody what you're going to do, but you're not seeing results. And you're confused. You're like, oh, why isn't it happening for me? Let me tell you why. It's because you lack discipline. You're motivated for a day, for a week, maybe even for a month. But then life hits you. Distractions come, you get tired, you get bored, and you stop showing up. And every time you quit, every time you skip, every time you let your feelings control your actions, you put more distance between your dream and your reality. Domination requires discipline. Discipline is waking up when you're tired. Discipline is grinding when you don't feel like it. Discipline is saying no to distractions, saying no to comfort, saying no to shortcuts. Discipline is showing up day in, day out, regardless of how you feel, regardless of what's happening around you, regardless of who's watching. And here's the truth. Discipline is the difference between average and great, between forgotten and legendary. Do you know what separates the champions from the quitters? It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not even resources. It's discipline. Because talent without discipline is wasted potential. Dreams without discipline are fantasies. Plans without discipline are just words. But when you take discipline, when you commit to consistency, when you put into work every single day, your dream moves from imagination to manifestation. It's not about going to the gym one time and posting a selfie. It's about going when you don't feel like it. It's about eating right every single day, not just when you feel motivated. You want to build a business? It's not about getting excited and making a logo. It's about working long nights, making calls, dealing with rejection, showing up when nobody is buying, pushing through when you're broke. You want to graduate, get that degree, change your family's life. It's not about registering for classes. It's about studying when your friends are out, staying up late, waking up early, sacrificing so you can dominate later. Discipline is the price of admission for greatness. You don't get in the door without it. And consistency is the key that keeps you inside. Consistency is not sexy. It's not glamorous. It doesn't get applause. Consistency is boring. Consistency is repetitive. Consistency is doing the same thing over and over until you master it, until it becomes who you are. Consistency is also the bridge between your dreams and your reality. Without that bridge, your dreams stay on one side and your life stays on the other. Some of you keep starting and stopping, and then you wonder why you're not crossing the bridge. You're building half a bridge and quitting. You're laying a few bricks and walking away. But domination requires that you finish what you start. Domination requires that you stay consistent until the bridge is complete, until you've crossed into the life you've been dreaming about. And here's the thing. Discipline isn't something you're born with, it's a decision. It's a choice you make every single day. You wake up and you decide, I will not be ruled by my feelings. I will not be controlled by my excuses. I will not stop until I get it done. That's discipline. That's consistency. That's domination. Think about the greatest athletes, the greatest entrepreneurs, the greatest leaders. They all had discipline. Kobe Bryant didn't become the Black Mamba because he felt like practicing every day. He became great because he disciplined himself to get in the gym before anybody else, to put up thousands of shots, to study the game relentlessly. That's discipline. That's consistency. That's why his name will live forever. Steve Jobs didn't create Apple because he wanted to feel comfortable. He disciplined himself to innovate, to push, to keep going, even when people said he was crazy. That discipline turned into consistency, and that consistency turned Apple from a garage project into one of the most powerful companies on earth. And let me tell you this, discipline is not easy. It's not supposed to be easy. If it were easy, everybody would do it. If it were easy, everybody would dominate. But that's what makes it valuable. That's what makes it rare. That's what makes it powerful. The fact that it's hard is exactly why you need to do it. Because hard is what separates the weak from the strong, the average from the great, the temporary from the timeless. You need to stop making decisions based on how you feel and start making decisions based on who you want to become. Your feelings are liars. Your feelings will betray you. Your feelings will tell you to quit, to take a break, to slow down. But discipline says, keep going. Discipline says, stay focused. Discipline says, push harder. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It cares about what you finish. And here's the truth. If you can master discipline, if you can master consistency, there's nothing you can't do. Because discipline gives you control over yourself. Discipline makes you unstoppable. Discipline turns your dream from something you talk about into something you live. But without discipline, you'll always fall short. You'll always have regrets. You'll always live with a what if. You'll always wonder what could have been if you had just stayed the course. And let me tell you something. Regret is heavier than discipline. Regret will break you. Regret will follow you to your grave. Discipline might hurt for a moment. It might make you uncomfortable, but regret will haunt you forever. So today I need you to make a decision. I need you to decide that you will be disciplined, that you will be disciplined, that you will be consistent, that you will no longer let your feelings dictate your future, that you will no longer let excuses rob you of your destiny, that you will no longer start and stop, that you will finish what you started, and you will not stop until the dream becomes reality. Because domination requires discipline. Domination requires consistency. And if you want to cross that bridge from where you are to where you want to be, there is only one way across. Discipline every day, consistency every day, until the dream is no longer a dream but your life. Most people live their lives in a state of comfort, where they do just enough to get by, just enough to pay the bills, just enough to be seen as a normal in society. They clock in, clock out, and go through life in a repetitive cycle, never daring to demand more from themselves, never questioning whether they could be extraordinary. But the truth is, this mentality of settling for the minimum is one of the greatest traps in life. Doing just enough to get by doesn't challenge you. It doesn't stretch you, and it certainly doesn't bring out your best. It keeps you locked in a cage that is invisible but powerful. And the key to escaping it is deciding that mediocrity is not your standard. The moment you accept average, you close the door to greatness. Because greatness doesn't come to those who do the minimum. It comes to those who are willing to push themselves beyond the point of comfort, beyond what others think is possible, beyond the excuses and the doubts. Doing just enough to get by is like running a race where you stop before the finish line and convince yourself that it's okay, when in reality you cheated yourself out of the victory. The most dangerous part about doing the bare minimum is that it becomes a habit. Habits are powerful forces that shape who we become. And when you practice doing it just enough, you train your brain, your body, and your spirit to settle for mediocrity. Over time, that becomes your identity. You no longer even realize you're living below your potential because it feels normal. You look around and see everyone else doing the same, and it reassures you. But the question you must ask yourself is, do you want to be normal or do you want to be great? Because greatness demands sacrifice, consistency, and relentless energy. It demands that you wake up earlier, work harder, push longer, and refuse to quit when others settle. When you do just enough to get by, you rob yourself of those habits that build discipline and excellence. You miss the opportunity to see what you are truly capable of, and you deny the world the gift of your greatness. Think about athletes who make it to the highest levels of their sport. They don't get there by practicing it just enough. They don't say, I'll take a few shots and then call it a day. No, they stay in the gym longer, they run drift until they are exhausted, and then they push through that exhaustion because they know greatness lies on the other side of that limit. Michael Jordan didn't become the greatest basketball player by doing the minimum. Kobe Bryant didn't earn the nickname of Black Mamba by clocking out when practice got tough. They lived in the gym, they studied their craft, and they demanded more from themselves every single day. That's the difference. The minimum doesn't produce legends. The minimum doesn't leave a legacy. The minimum leaves you forgotten, and you must decide which path you want for yourself. The problem with doing just enough is that it gives you the illusion of progress without the reality of transformation. You may feel like you're moving forward, but in reality, you're stuck in place. It's like being on a treadmill, sweating, moving, but going nowhere. You finish the day thinking you did something, but deep down you know you could have done more. That nagging feeling inside of you is not guilt. It's greatness trying to wake you up. It's that inner voice telling you that you are settling for crumbs when you were designed to feast. And the longer you ignore that voice, the more numb you become to your own potential. That's why so many people wake up decades later filled with regrets. They realize they wasted years doing just enough, thinking they had time, when in reality, every day they did the minimum was a day stolen from their future. Doing just enough to get by also makes you replaceable. When you operate at the minimum, you are no different than the next person who's willing to do the same. Employers don't promote minimum effort. Leaders don't inspire with minimum vision. Champions don't win with minimum training. If you want to stand out, if you want to be irreplaceable, you must go beyond the minimum. You must do what others are unwilling to do. You must wake up when others sleep, study when others party, practice when others quit. You must build a work ethic so strong that no one can deny you. Doing just enough won't get you remembered, but domination will. Domination means giving everything you got, not when it's convenient, but every single day. The truth is, doing just enough is not only holding you back, it's insulting to your own potential. Or every time you take the easy way out, every time you say, this is good enough, you're telling yourself you're not worth the effort it takes to be great. You're telling yourself that your dreams don't matter, that your future doesn't deserve your best. And once you start believing that, you lower the standard for your entire life. But if you raise your standard, if you decide that it's just enough will never be enough for you again, everything changes. You stop making excuses. You stop comparing yourself to others, and you start competing with the best version of yourself. You begin to realize that excellence is not an act, it's a lifestyle. It's a choice you make every morning when you wake up, every time you put in the work, every time you refuse to quit. Now understand this, nobody ever dominated by accident. Nobody ever stumbled into greatness by doing the minimum. Domination requires intentionality. It requires a mindset that says, I will not settle. I will not be average. I will not do just enough to get by. You must be deliberate in everything. Your work, your discipline, your habits, your relationships. You must cut out distractions, eliminate excuses, and commit yourself fully to the process. And when you feel tired, when you feel like giving up, that's when you push harder. Because it's in those moments that domination is built. It's in those moments that greatness is forged. Average quits, greatness endures. So when you think about your goals, your dreams, your legacy, ask yourself, am I doing just enough to survive, or am I doing everything it takes to dominate? Am I operating at a level that makes me unforgettable, that makes me undeniable, that makes me legendary? Because the truth is, legacy is not built on minimum effort. Legacy is built on sacrifice, on discipline, on relentless pursuit of excellence. Legacy is built when you give more than what is required, when you refuse to stop at enough, when you push until there's nothing left to give. Doing just enough will keep you average, but domination, that will make you great. Average is the most dangerous comfort zone you can ever live in because it gives you just enough to survive, but never enough to thrive. It's like being stuck in quicksand. You're not drowning, but you're not moving forward either. That's the trap so many people fall into. They convince themselves that being a good enough is okay. They say, at least I've got a job. At least I've got a job. At least I'm better than some people. But at least it's killing dreams every single day. Some language of mediocrity, and mediocrity is the biggest enemy of greatness. When you settle for average, you strip yourself of the hunger that drives transformation. You remove the urgency that fuels domination. You lower your standards until they fit neatly inside a box of comfort, and that box becomes your cage. You weren't created for average. You weren't born just to get by. You were designed for greatness, for legacy, for impact. And average will always suffocate that potential. Average becomes a silent thief, robbing you without you even realizing it. Think about it. Average never shouts at you, it never alarms you. It never warns you. It whispers to you in the softest voice, convincing you that what you have is enough. It tells you why push harder, why sacrifice more, why suffer when you can just be comfortable. And if you listen to that voice long enough, you'll look back one day and realize decades have passed and you left so much of your talent on the table. You left so much of your greatness unexpressed. You left your destiny unfulfilled because you allowed average to convince you that it was safer to play small than to dare to dominate. But here's the truth. Average is safe only in the short term. In the long run, average costs you everything. Your dream, your passion, your influence, and the chance to leave a mark on this world that can never be erased. Average is not just about what you do, it's about who you become. Every time you accept average, you build habits of mediocrity. You teach yourself to settle, to stop striving, to lower your expectation. And the problem is, those habits don't just stay in one area of your life, they spread. You might settle in your career. Then before you know it, you're settling in your relationships. You might settle in your health. Then it starts affecting your energy and confidence. Average multiplies like a virus, infecting every corner of your existence until you forget what it even feels like to dream, to go all in, to fight for something greater. And that's why domination is not about arrogance or ego. It's about refusing to allow average to take root in your life. It's about raising the standard so high that anything less than your best is unacceptable. It's about demanding from yourself a level of excellence that forces you to keep evolving, keep grinding, and keep growing no matter what. The danger of average is that it blinds you to possibility. It convinces you that greatness is only for the chosen few, the athletes, the celebrities, the billionaires. But what you don't realize is that greatness doesn't start at the top. Greatness starts with a choice. Greatness starts when an ordinary person decides, I will not settle. I will not live a life of just enough. I will not die with my music still inside me. Average tells you greatness is out of reach. Domination tells you it's already within you. You just have to wake it up. And waking it up means sacrificing comfort. It means staying up late while others are sleeping. It means putting in extra work when no one is watching. It means refusing shortcuts, refusing excuses, refusing to lower your bar to match other people's laziness. Because the truth is, average is crowded, but greatness is rare. Greatness is lonely. Greatness requires walking a path most people are too afraid to even attempt. Most people never dominate in life because they become addicted to being accepted. They want to fit in. They want to be liked. They want to be part of the crowd. And here's the problem. The crowd is average. The crowd is the bare minimum. The crowd avoids struggle. And when you follow the crowd, you inherit their limits. Domination requires you to step out of that crowd, to be willing to look different, sound different, think different, and act different, and act different. And that's scary. Because when you choose domination, you'll be misunderstood. People will say you're too intense, too ambitious, too obsessed. They'll criticize you because your grind reminds them of their laziness. But you cannot allow their opinions to drag you back to average. Domination is not about being better than others. It's about being the best version of yourself. And when you commit to that, you stop comparing and stop competing only with the person in the mirror. The other danger of average is that it tricks you into believing you have time. You think, oh, one day I'll chase that dream. One day I'll get serious. One day I'll go all in. But a one day is the lie that average feeds you to keep you stuck. The truth is, you don't have forever. You don't even have tomorrow promise. All you have is today, and what you do today determines whether you live in average or dominate in greatness. That's why domination requires urgency. Not tomorrow, not next week, but now. Domination says, I refuse to waste another moment living below my potential. Domination says, I'm going to attack today with everything I've got, because my legacy has been written with every choice I make. How about it like this? Every single day you are building your legacy brick by brick. Every choice is a brick, every action is a brick, every sacrifice is a brick. The question is, what kind of structure are you building? Are you building a weak, shaky house of average that will crumble the moment life tests you? Or are you building a fortress of greatness? A legacy so strong that generations after you will be inspired by your example. Average builds houses that disappear. Domination builds monuments that last forever. That's the difference. That's why average is dangerous. It gives you nothing to pass down. But domination creates impact that outlives you. The truth is, domination is not easy. It requires pain, sacrifice, discipline, and focus. But average is painful too. It's just a slower, quieter pain. The pain of regret. The pain of looking back and realizing you never truly lived. The pain of knowing you had more in you but never brought it out. If you're going to suffer either way, why not choose the suffering that leads to greatness instead of the suffering that leads to regret? Why not embrace the grind now so you can experience freedom later? Why not demand more of yourself so your life becomes a blueprint of what's possible instead of a cautionary tale of wasted potential? At the end of the day, average is holding millions of people hostage because they don't recognize it for what it is, a ceiling disguised as comfort. And until you get angry enough, hungry enough, and desperate enough to break through that ceiling, you'll stay stuck. Domination is about smashing through that ceiling, refusing to be limited, and deciding once and for all that average is not your destiny. You were made for greatness. You were made for legacy. You were made to dominate. Greatness is never achieved in comfort zones. And the truth is, most people settle for what feels safe, what feels easy, what feels familiar. That's why average exists, because people stop chasing excellence the moment it demands more of them than they're willing to give. Average becomes a shelter for the timid, a hiding place for those afraid to face the challenge of chasing something greater. But average is not just a personal setback. It is a chain that keeps generations from seeing the fullness of what they could have been. When you accept average, you are not just letting yourself down, you are robbing the world of your greatness, your family of a legacy, and your soul of the satisfaction of knowing you gave everything you had. The real danger of settling for average is how silent it feels. It doesn't shout at you like failure. It whispers, it comforts, it makes you believe you are doing enough. But here's the truth. Enough is never enough when greatness is inside you. Every day you settle, every day you decide not to push harder, every day you decide to hit snooze. Every day you decide not to give 120%, you are quietly burying your legacy. And the tragedy is, most people don't even realize it until it's too late. You can recover from failure. You can recover from rejection, but you cannot recover the time lost settling for average. Time is the one resource that never comes back. When it's gone, it's gone, it's gone, and average steals time without you even noticing. Think about the greats in any field, athletes, leaders, creators, entrepreneurs. Do you think they were content with being average? Do you think Michael Jordan wanted to just be a good basketball player? Do you think Steve Jobs wanted to create just another gadget? Do you think Muhammad Ali wanted to be just another boxer? No, they were obsessed with greatness. They were relentless in their pursuit. They understood that average is the enemy of legacy because nobody remembers average. Nobody writes books about average. Nobody builds statues for average. Nobody tells their children stories about the person who was just okay. Legacies are built on greatness, and greatness is built on the courage to reject average every single day. Average might seem harmless in the moment, but what it really does is rob you of urgency. You begin to think you have more time than you do. You start to believe you can get to it tomorrow. But tomorrow is a myth. Tomorrow doesn't exist. You only ever have today. The people who achieve greatness understand that. They wake up with a sense of urgency. They understand that every day wasted in average is a day stolen from their purpose. They understand that domination requires consistency, discipline, and sacrifice, not when it's convenient, but every single day. And let me tell you this, average is dangerous because it's contagious, because it gets contagious. If you accept average, the people around you start to too. If you're a parent and you live average, your children will inherit average as their standard. If you're a leader and you tolerate average in your team, it becomes the culture. If you're in a relationship and you bring average effort, your partner feels the weight of mediocrity. Nah, average doesn't just affect you. It's expressed to everyone connected to you, but the same is true of greatness. When you decide to live at a higher standard, when you decide to dominate, when you decide to give everything you got, the people around you rise to meet that standard. That's how legacies are born. Not through one act of greatness, but through a lifestyle of rejecting average and demanding more of yourself and those around you. Domination is not about controlling other people. It's about mastering yourself. It's about dominating your excuses, your laziness, your fears, your doubts. It's about dominating that voice in your head that tells you to settle, that tells you you've done enough, that tells you you deserve to rest when the job is not finished. Domination is a mindset. It's the decision that average is not an option, that good is not good enough. That's your life, your future. Your legacy demands excellence. When you embrace that mindset, you stop making decisions based on comfort and you start making decisions based on destiny. You stop asking, what do I feel like doing? And you start asking, what must I do to be great? That's the shift. That's what separates those who leave a mark from those who leave nothing. You have to understand, average is seductive. It offers you shortcuts. It offers you excuses. It offers you validation. People will even cheer you on for being average because it makes them feel comfortable about their own mediocrity. But if you want legacy greatness, you can't live for the applause of average people. You can't live for their approval. You have to be willing to stand alone if necessary. You have to be willing to be misunderstood, criticized, and even mocked because your standards make others uncomfortable. Greatness has always been misunderstood. Domination has always been resisted. But that's the price of living at a higher level. Look at history. The names that echo through time are not the names of those who blended in. They are the names of those who stood out. They are the names of those who said, I would not settle. I would not lower my standards. I will not let average define me. They sacrificed comfort for greatness. They endured rejection, failure, and pain for legacy. They understood that average gives you temporary comfort, but greatness gives you eternal impact. And the question you have to ask yourself is, do you want to be comfortable now, or do you want to be remembered forever? And here's the most important truth. Greatness is available to you. It's not reserved for a chosen few. It's not just for athletes or billionaires or celebrities. Greatness is a decision. It's a daily choice. It's saying, I'm about to stop. I will not quit. I will not settle. Every person has greatness inside them, but only those who reject average ever see it realize the only thing holding most people back is their tolerance for average. If you can raise your standard, if you can decide that average is unacceptable, if you can commit to domination in every area of your life, you will unlock the greatness that's been inside you all along. So the real question is, are you willing to stop settling? Are you willing to stop hitting snooze on your purpose? Are you willing to stop letting average rob you of your destiny? Because the moment you decide, the moment you draw that line in the sand and say, no more average, everything changes. You start walking different. You start working different. You start working different. You start living different. And little by little, you build a legacy that cannot be ignored, a greatness that cannot be denied, a life that proves average never had the power to define you, unless you let it. You've got to understand something right now. Average doesn't leave footprints. Average doesn't create history. Average doesn't build legacy. Nobody remembers the names of the people who just showed up, did enough, and went home. People remember those who dominated. People remember the ones who went all in, who pushed past limits, who demanded excellence from themselves every single day. And the crazy part is this. Most of you listening right now, you've been conditioned to believe that being average is okay. You've been told to don't work too hard, don't stress yourself, just be comfortable. And I'm here to tell you that mindset is robbing you of your legacy. That mindset is keeping you trapped in mediocrity. That mindset is stealing from your future children, your family, your name, your very existence. Because when you settle for average, you're saying, I don't want to be remembered. I don't want to impact anyone. I don't want to impact anyone. I just want to get by. Average is dangerous because it disguises itself as safe. You tell yourself, at least I've got a job. At least I'm doing better than some people. At least I'm not at the bottom. But let me ask you a question. Why are you comparing yourself to the bottom? Why are you measuring your worth against people who aren't even trying? That's like celebrating because you came in last place, but at least you finished the race. That's like patting yourself on the back because you showed up, but you never gave your all. You don't get greatness from ET least. You don't get legacy from a good enough. You get greatness when you demand more from yourself than anyone else could ever demand of you. Think about the legends: Muhammad Ali, Kobe Bryant, Serena Williams, Steve Jobs, Nelson Mandela. Do you think they settled for average? Do you think they said, at least I'm better than most people? No, they wanted to dominate. They wanted to leave a mark so deep that generations after them would still speak their name. And here's the truth. Domination is not about being better than the person next to you. It's about being better than the person you were yesterday. It's about looking in the mirror and saying, I refuse to give less than 120%. I refuse to die with potential still inside me. I refuse to leave this earth without emptying the gifts God placed in me. That's domination. But the problem with average is it feels comfortable. It feels normal. It doesn't require risk. It doesn't require pain. It doesn't require sacrifice. And that's why so many people choose it. But here's the reality. Average will cost you everything. Average will cost you your dreams. Average will cost you opportunity. Average will cost you your legacy. Because when you play small, when you refuse to give your best, life will not open the doors you were meant to walk through. Life only gives you access when you pay the full price. And the price of greatness is pain, sacrifice, discipline, and consistency. There is no discount for domination. There's no clearance sale for legacy. You've got to be willing to pay in full every single day. Listen to me. When you settle for average, you send a message to your future family, to your future children, to the people who look up to you. You're telling them it's okay to give less than your bet. It's okay to give less than your bet. You're telling them it's okay to waste talent, to waste gifts, to waste potential. You're telling them it's okay to exist without truly living. And let me be real with you. It's not okay, because your life is bigger than you. Your grind, your discipline, your commitment, it doesn't just affect you. It affects everybody connected to you. There are people right now who will either rise or fall, depending on how serious you get about your life. That's how deep this is. Legacy isn't about you, it's about those who come after you. And if you settle for average, you rob them of a blueprint for greatness. Excuses are expensive. Every time you open your mouth and let an excuse come out, you're writing a check that your future has to cash. Every excuse you make today is a bill your tomorrow has to pay. And the problem is, some of you are so addicted to excusing, you don't even realize you're bankrupting your destiny. You're supposed to be walking in greatness. You're supposed to be dominating, but instead, you're stuck because you keep letting excuses steal from you. Understand this. Excuses are thieves. They don't knock on the door. They don't announce themselves. They sneak in and rob you blind. Excuses rob you of time. Excuses rob you of opportunity. Excuses rob you of growth. Excuses rob you of growth. Excuses rob you of legacy. And the worst part, excuses make you feel good about losing. Excuses let you justify failure. Excuses let you sleep at night when you know deep down you didn't give everything. How many times have you said, I'll start tomorrow? How many times have you said, I don't have the resources, I don't have the connection, I don't have the time? How many times have you said, it's not my fault, life's not fair, people don't support me? Do you realize what you're doing? God, every time you make an excuse, you're delaying your greatness. You're pushing your destiny further and further away. And let me tell you something, your future doesn't wait forever. Time doesn't stop because you're not ready. Opportunity doesn't hold on because you're making excuses. Every day you waste is a day you can't get back. The truth is, excuses are comfortable. Excuses feel safe. Excuses give you a reason not to try, a reason not to risk, a reason not to risk, a reason not to push. Excuses give you permission to stay average. But listen, average doesn't build legacy. Excuses don't create impact. Nobody remembers the person who explained why they couldn't. The world remembers the person who found a way to do it. Some of you have been telling the same excuse for years. No, I grew up in the wrong neighborhood. I didn't have the right family. I don't have the right education. I don't have the right opportunities. And I get it. Life is tough. Life is unfair. Life throws obstacles at you. But listen to me. Everybody has obstacles. Everybody has disadvantages. The difference between those who dominate and those who disappear is not the size of the obstacle, it's the size of their excuses. Some people look at their obstacles and say, this is why I can't. Others look at their obstacles and say, this is why I must. And those are the ones who walk in greatness. You need to make a decision right now. No more excuses, no more delays, no more justifying why you're not where you should be. Because listen, your family doesn't need your excuses, they need your greatness. Your children don't need your excuses, they need your legacy. Your community doesn't need your excuses, they need your impact. The world doesn't need your excuses, it needs your gift. And the longer you keep making excuses, the longer you keep withholding that gift from the world. Excuses are lies you tell yourself so you don't feel guilty about quitting. Excuses are the chains that keep you locked in mediocrity. Excuses are the weight that drags you down every time you try to rise. And until you break those chains, until you drop that weight, until you stop lying to yourself, you will never reach the level you're capable of. Let me be real with you. Life doesn't care about your excuses. The clock doesn't care. The marketplace doesn't care. The competition doesn't care. The only thing excuses do is make you feel better temporarily while your opportunities slip away permanently. You think your excuses are protecting you, but they're destroying you. You think they're keeping you safe, but they're keeping you stuck. You think they're small, but they're costing you everything. Every excuse delays your greatness. Every time you say, I'll do it later, you're pushing your destiny back another day. Every time you say, I don't feel like it, you're putting your dream on hold. Every time you say, it's too hard, you're letting the enemy of average win. And if you're not careful, you'll spend your whole life making excuses. And when it's all said and done, you'll realize you ran out of time. I need you to wake up. I need you to get angry at your excuses. I need you to hate them with everything in you because excuses are robbing you of the life you were created to live. Stop tolerating them. Stop entertaining them. Stop giving them power. When the voice of excuses shows up in your head, you've got to shut it down immediately. When your mind says, I'm too tired, you say, you do it anyway. When your mind says, it's too risky, you say, I'll take the risk. When your mind says, I don't have enough, you say, I'll start with what I have. That's how you beat excuses. You don't reason with them. You don't reason with them. You don't negotiate with them. You destroy them, and here's the truth. Once you kill excuses, you unlock freedom. You unlock power. You unlock possibility. Because without excuses holding you back, you start to see what's really possible. Without excuses, you start to move faster, dream bigger, push harder. Without excuses, you start to dominate. Think about it. Every great person you admire had every reason to make excuses. They could have said, I can't. They could have said, it's too hard. They could have said, the odds are against me. But they did. They chose to find a way instead of finding an excuse. And because of that, they left a legacy. They became unforgettable. So what about you? Are you going to keep making excuses, or are you going to make history? Are you going to keep delaying your greatness, or are you going to walk in it right now? Are you going to keep stealing from your own future, or are you going to invest in it? The choice is yours. But make no mistake, your excuses are costing you. And if you don't stop, they will cost you everything. You don't have forever. You don't have unlimited time. Every excuse you make is another step away from your dream, another step away from your legacy, another step away from your greatness. Stop making excuses. Stop delaying. Stop robbing yourself. Your greatness is waiting, but it won't wait forever. You've got to go get it, and you've got to go get it now. Legacy is not built in one moment. Legacy is not something that magically appears when you die. Legacy is not a speech people give at your funeral. Legacy is built brick by brick, decision by decision, action by action, every single day of your life. Your legacy is being written right now by what you do today, by how you live, by how you show up. Too many of you think legacy is this big thing that happens in the future. You keep saying, one day I'm going to do something great. One day I'm going to build something that matters. One day I'm going to be remembered. But listen to me. Legacy doesn't start one day, it starts today. Every morning you wake up, you're either adding to your legacy or you're subtracting from it. Every decision you make is either building something that people will remember or it's building something people will forget. Legacy is not built in the future, it's built in the present. The choices you make right now determine how you'll be remembered tomorrow. You think people will remember you for what you plan to do? No, they will remember you for what you actually did. They won't talk about your intentions. They'll talk about your actions. They won't celebrate what you dreamed about. They'll celebrate what you sacrificed for. Legacy is not about what you say. It's about what you do. And every single day, you're laying the foundation for it. The problem is, some of you live like tomorrow is guaranteed. You live like you got time to waste. You live like you can procrastinate today and still build a legacy tomorrow. But listen to me, tomorrow is not promised. Time is not promised. You don't know how many days you got left. And if your time was up today, what would your legacy be? Would people say you gave everything you had? Would they say you poured into others? Would they say you lived with purpose, with passion, with integrity? Or would they say you played it safe? You wasted potential. You lived average. Legacy is built daily. That means it's not about the big things you do once in a while. It's about the little things you do consistently. It's about your habits. It's about your discipline. It's about how you treat people, how you carry yourself, how you handle responsibility. People don't remember you for your intentions. They remember you for your impact. And impact is created by showing up every single day with excellence. Think about it. When you look at people who left legacies, Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King Jr., they didn't just have one big moment. Their legacy wasn't built on one speech, one action, one idea. Their legacy was built over years of daily sacrifice, daily discipline, daily courage. Every day they showed up. Every day they added another brick to their legacy. And that's why decades later, their names still inspire us. So here's the question. What bricks are you laying today? What story are you writing with your actions? Because make no mistake, you're building a legacy whether you realize it or not. The question is not, am I building a legacy? The question is, what kind of legacy am I building? Are you building a legacy of excuses, laziness, mediocrity? Or are you building a legacy of hard work, resilience, and impact? Your actions today decide your remembrance tomorrow. You don't get to live sloppy now and be remembered as great later. You don't get to waste your days and expect your name to carry weight in the future. The way you live today is the way you'll be remembered tomorrow. If you want to be remembered as someone who gave their all, you got to give your all right now. If you want to be remembered as someone who changed lives, you got to change lives right now. If you want to be remembered as someone who was relentless, disciplined, unstoppable, you got to live like that right now. Some of you are waiting for the perfect time. You're waiting until you got more money, more resources, more support. You're waiting until life is easier. But legacy doesn't wait. Legacy is built in the struggle. Legacy is built when you're grinding in the dark. Legacy is built when nobody's watching, when nobody's clapping, when nobody's posting about you. That's when you're laying the foundation that will carry your name for generations. Stop thinking about legacy as something that happens when you're gone. Legacy is happening while you're alive. Legacy is in your children watching how you work, how you treat people, how you carry yourself. Legacy is in your coworkers watching your consistency, your integrity, your grind. Legacy is in the people who cross your path, who are impacted by your words, your actions, your energy. Every day you're leaving footprints. Every day you're leaving a mark. And the question is, what kind of mark are you leaving? Legacy is not about perfection. Legacy is not about being flawless. Legacy is about being faithful. It's about showing up even when it's hard. It's about giving your best even when you don't feel like it. It's about committing to the process day after day after day. Nobody remembers the person who was perfect. They do remember the person who was consistent, the person who was relentless, the person who refused to quit. And let me tell you something, legacy doesn't just happen in the big moments, it happens in the small ones. The way you speak to your family, that's legacy. The way you handle adversity, that's legacy. The way you respond to failure, that's legacy. The way you help others, that's legacy. Every little action adds up. Every choice you make is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. And when it's all said and done, canvas is what people will remember. You have to stop living like your actions don't matter. They matter. Every word matters. Every word matters. Every choice matters. Every habit matters. Because all of it is shaping the way you'll be remembered. You don't get to live sloppy and then hope for a masterpiece. You don't get to waste years and then hope for impact. If you want a masterpiece, you gotta paint it every single day. So hear me clearly. Your legacy is not tomorrow. Your legacy is today. Your legacy is what you're doing right now. If you died tonight, what would your actions today say about you? Would they say you lived with purpose? Would they say you fought for your dreams? Would they say you gave everything you had? Or would they say you played it safe? You held back, you wasted time. Legacy is built daily. And the good news is you get to decide what kind of legacy you're building. Every day is a new opportunity to lay the right bricks. And every day is a chance to change your story. Every day is a chance to build something worth remembering. You don't have to wait until tomorrow. You don't have to wait until conditions are perfect. You can start right now. But you've got to decide. You got to choose to live in a way that builds, not in a way that destroys. Because listen, at the end of your life, nobody's going to care about your excuses. Nobody's going to care about your intention. Nobody's going to care about your plan. They're going to care about what you did. They're going to care about the lives you impacted, the sacrifices you made, the example you set, and that will all be determined by how you live today. So stop waiting, stop procrastinating, stop wasting time, stop wasting time, start building your legacy now. Because your actions today decide your remembrance tomorrow. And if you want to be remembered as great, you've got to live great today. Greatness has never been the reward for those who simply wait for it to come knocking at their door. Too often people sit on the sidelines of life expecting opportunity to somehow arrive, gift-wrapped and labeled with their name. But that's not how life works. Waiting passively for success is like expecting a harvest without ever planting a seed. It just won't happen? The people you admire, the ones whose names are etched into history, didn't stumble into greatness. They seized it. They put themselves in position day after day to claim what others were too hesitant to go after. The truth is, opportunity is not a matter of luck. It's a matter of preparation, discipline, and chance. When you wait for greatness, you give away your power. But when you decide to chase it, when you get intentional, that's when the extraordinary starts to happen. Think about the difference between someone who dreams and someone who acts. Both may have the same vision in their mind, but only one of them will ever see it become real. The dreamer waits for the perfect timing, the right conditions, the sign that it's their moment. The actor knows there's no perfect moment. They create it by moving. History remembers the people who dared to step forward when others hesitated. Greatness isn't about having everything figured out beforehand. It's about taking that first step into the unknown and trusting your work ethic, your resilience, and your belief in yourself to carry you through. If you wait for conditions to be perfect, you'll still be waiting 5, 10, or 20 years from now. Those years will pass anyway. So why not fill them with the pursuit of greatness? Too many people are slaves to comfort. They convince themselves the average is safe, that staying in familiar territory is a smart choice. But here's the reality. Comfort kills dreams. The people who wait in comfort zones hoping success will eventually find them end up bitter, frustrated, and unfulfilled. They realize too late that greatness demands discomfort. It requires risk, sweat, rejection, and sacrifice. When you stop waiting and start moving, you enter a zone of growth where every challenge makes you stronger, sharper, and hungrier. That's where the magic happens, because greatness is not a product of ease. It's the outcome of resilience in the face of struggle. Look at athletes, entrepreneurs, or leaders who inspire the world. Do you think they sat back and waited for someone to hand them greatness? Absolutely not. They outworked, outtrained, and outfought everyone around them. They knew that if they wanted to dominate, they had to be first in the gym, last to leave the office, and willing to go the extra mile when others were ready to quit. They understood a fundamental truth. Life doesn't give you what you wish for. It gives you what you're willing to work for. The person who acts boldly, who commits without hesitation, is the one who creates opportunity, while the person who waits gets left behind. Greatness requires urgency. There is no someday on the calendar. It doesn't exist. The only days that matter are today and the habits you build right now. Waiting is procrastination dressed up as patience. Too many people say, I'll start when I have more money. I'll begin when I feel ready. Or I'll go for it after the timing is right. But life never aligns perfectly. If you can't act in imperfect conditions, you'll never act at all. Those who achieve greatness do so because they move even when it's inconvenient, even when they're scared, even when the odds are stacked against them. They understand that imperfect action beats perfect inaction. Every single time, there's also a spiritual aspect to this. If you've been blessed with a vision, a gift, or even just a burning desire for more, that's not an accident. That's a calling. Waiting dishonors the calling because it's saying to the universe, I'm not ready, I don't trust, I don't believe, but faith is proven in action. When you step forward, even trembling, you signal that you're serious about your destiny. That's when doors start opening. That's when resources start showing up. And that's when your effort gets multiplied. God, the universe, however you see it, it responds to movement, not hesitation. If you're waiting, you're delaying the very greatness you've been asking for. But let's be real. Waiting feels easier. It's less risky to stay still than to fail. That's why so many settle. But here's what you need to understand. Failure is not the enemy of greatness. Inaction is. Every failure teaches, every setback sharpens, and every stumble brings you closer to mastery. The only true failure is refusing to try. Waiting guarantees regret, but action guarantees growth. The people at the top didn't avoid failure. They embraced it, learned from it, and kept pressing forward. That's why their names are remembered, while the names of those who waited are forgot. Chasing greatness also transforms who you are. The pursuit itself reshapes your mindset, your discipline, and your character. Waiting keeps you stagnant, but pursuit forces evolution. The longer you chase, the more you develop the grit to endure, the patience to persevere, and the wisdom to handle success when it comes. Greatness is not only about the end result, it's about becoming the kind of person who can carry that result with integrity and strength. You can't get there by waiting. You only get there by putting yourself in motion, by daring to face what others avoid. And here's the most important part. Your greatness is not just about you. It's about the lives you impact, the people you inspire, the legacy you leave behind. Every day you wait, someone who could be learning from you, benefiting from your gift, or being changed by your work misses out. Waiting doesn't just cost you, it costs the world. Your greatness has a ripple effect, and when you refuse to chase it, you're withholding that impact from others. That's why it's urgent, that's why it's necessary, and that's why average can never be an option. So stop waiting. Stop convincing yourself that tomorrow will be better, that conditions will be perfect, or that opportunity will find you. It won't. Greatness is not coming to your doorstep. You have to go out, hunt it down, and claim it. You have to wake up every day with the mindset that if it's going to happen, it's on you. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is coming to push you. You got to push yourself. The moment you decide to stop waiting and start chasing is the moment you step onto the path of legacy. That's the difference between being remembered as someone who lived a comfortable life and someone who lived a legendary one.